Hello, everybody. 1 week on from since we last recorded a message. Pretty good week, a bit up and down. Staffing levels and so on for the time of year. We've had a few absenteeisms in a couple of the homes, but our team are just fantastic, absolutely onto it all. Lockdown, we went into last weekend where we had to lock down one of the sites. We managed to unlock part of the site, but we do have two homes that are still locked down. That's just unavoidable, I'm afraid, and I'm really sorry for anybody who's been inconvenienced because they haven't been able to see their sons and daughters, but they are absolutely going to be prioritized once we come out of lockdown. I'm looking at my notes. Negative tests. Negative tests. We've had some negative tests back, but there is this problem that 20% of the negative tests are false positives. I might have said this before, so they're not 100%, which is a bit frustrating. So we've got to be careful about people still showing symptoms. We've got, just trying to see here, we've got antibody testing, which the NHS are trying to push hard. I see that they've done 100,000 people they've been monitoring. There's some very interesting data coming out of that. And now they're offering antibody testing to all of our staff. We can't force people to do it, but I really hope they will do it because I think I was saying in a meeting today, it will be fascinating to find out if we actually have had some staff who obviously have had COVID-19 and actually obviously would not have passed it on to our own staff members. And that would then, if that were the case, I'm not sure it is, then that would actually show that the countermeasures we're doing with PPE and everything else and disinfecting, all of that, were working. We've had a local issue in Newark where there's a food factory, I think it is, and they've had a high level of people testing positive. The issue around that is unfortunately is car sharing. Because Lincolnshire is very spread, people car share, and I think that seems to be a source of spread of COVID-19. I'm slightly aware of the fact there's rather a lot of noise in the background, so I hope it's not spoiling this. The Randox kits which we had and which have been withdrawn have been collection. There's no there's no mention of any replacements, which is a bit concerning because the idea is that what should have been everybody being tested on a weekly basis from August has been delayed to September, but they need to start getting some kits out if that's really going to happen. So question, is that going to really happen? Okay, one of the issue that came up was moving managers around. There was a family member who got in touch and said, look, I'm really concerned because I see that two assistant managers in a particular home have moved around or moving around over a period of time. One, in fact, was leaving the company, and the other one has decided they wanted to go and work a different RD pattern and so on. And what I just want to explain is just very, very briefly, we do not operate like a conventional company. We do not have this registered manager approach where one person absolutely runs a home from start to finish. Now, that's what happens elsewhere. That absolutely does not happen in our organization. And that's why we are able to We've got 9 of our 11 services are rated outstanding with CQC, which is 20 times the national average. We run a completely different model of care. Our platform means that a whole group of people who have separate roles actually have an oversight. So the oversight of a home is shared between a whole group of people. And in place of a single registered manager, we might have 5 or 6 assistant manager level people within a particular home, and people will always be moving around. We do not want ever to be dependent on a single member of staff. It does not work. So the fact that people move around and then somebody else steps forward, and I know this family member, said, oh, well, that's just great. You fixed it so soon. Actually, there was nothing to fix because we've got all of these people in place. It is what our model is. You don't want, if somebody's getting a little bit burnt out or they need another challenge, then that's what you've got to give them. And that's what keeps us as a dynamic organization. And the fantastic thing is that when somebody who has been doing something on a consistent basis for a period of time moves on, there's always somebody else underneath waiting to have that opportunity. So in place of a normal organization with 11 services that would have 11 registered managers and a couple or so assistant managers, no, we have actually in the homes, I think it's 46 assistant manager level people, and then we have another 40 odd assistant manager level people who are in the background doing specialist services. So we've divided everything up between the team, and that's why it works. It's why it's phenomenal, and we can only do that because of the technology and our whole approach. And it is a new model of care, and trying to get that across to people is not always easy. We do take it a little bit for granted that families understand it, but there's no reason why you should if you're used to a normal model. But that is very, very much what's different. The portals, it's taking a little bit of time. I'm just looking at this. I'm looking at the stats. We've got 24 that are online. We've got 10 waiting to go live, and then we've got 5 which are awaiting the sign off on terms and conditions and so on. It's going to be phenomenal. We're doing a lot of work, as we intimated before, on it, and we're going to put more resources. It's going to take a little bit of time, as I say. The issues around DOLS and MCA, you have to accept that there are limits to some of the things that you can actually affect in terms of your sons and daughters because of MCA and DOLS. And we need to be really clear about this so that we're not creating false expectations and so on. But this whole transparent approach, I just think is fantastic. We basically have decided this week, we have our HR and IMS team. IMS is our basically our integrated management support guys who go into the homes, spend a lot of time in the homes, picking up a lot of the boring stuff, which is non-care, but so important, which normally would sort of bog managers down. And we've now made a complete split where we've taken HR out of that. So we've now just got the IMS roles, which is really important, so that the IMS partners work alongside the teams and everything, and they will then refer anything to HR, who operate separately. So there is not that sort of idea in any sense that sort of IMS are the guys who might hit you over the head because you've done something. That is absolutely not the case, and it's a way to develop the skills, management skills, to the next level of that team, which is a really critical team. I think about 7 or 8 people in that team now, and it's a fantastic asset, and we want to use their skills in developing a lot more of the processes within the organization and so on. So this is an organization which is always on the go. It's always evolving, and that's exactly the way that it should be. So on that basis, I would like to wish you a great weekend and a fantastic week coming up, and look forward to communicating with you again in a week's time. Thank you very much indeed.